Welcome to our weekly discussion of all things current in California politics. I'm Walt Gray, joined again this weekend by Rich Ehisen, editor-in-chief of Capital Weekly publication. Rich, glad you're here. So the voter turnout early November wasn't that great. We had 550,000 more registrations in 2024, and we had a higher turnout in 2020 than this past year.
Yeah.
It can't be any easier to vote. It's mailed to your house. You fill it out, put it back in the mail with no postage. What's going on?
Yeah, I know. I think there's a lot of folks that are mystified by that. But I mean, to me, it comes down to enthusiasm. I mean, we can talk about policies and platforms all we want. If voters are not inspired to come out for a candidate, my old pal Lou Cannon always says, candidates matter. To me, that's what this election was proof of. And I really think there were a lot of races where the candidates were simply not inspiring, or maybe in a case where maybe there were two Dems or two Republicans. I don't know how many of those there were, but people just didn't feel it mattered that much. So I think it was really an enthusiasm gap.
Okay. December 2nd is when the governor's going to meet with the legislature, and we've talked about this a little bit. Considering where the country is right now, and Donald Trump did get 40% of the vote in California, does California, do they need to be as left as they are? Should they reel it back in a little bit?
Well, I mean, certainly the winds are blowing, opposed to being any more progressive than we already are here. There's been a lot of editorializing about this lately, and it certainly does seem that way. I mean, I think before I came back to California to do Capital Weekly, I covered legislatures all over the country, and I've been seeing this headwind for Democrats building. And it got maybe a little overshadowed because Obama was so successful, but I've been watching this happen in state houses across the country since 2002. And I think we have hit this culmination point where even mentioning California outside of California is like a dirty word. I think we can rebuild that, but man, I'm not sure going farther to the left is how that's going to work.
All right, we will, like you said, we will see what comes out of the December 2nd meeting and see what they come up with. Race for Sacramento mayor. There was a lot of consensus from experts, and we talked about this as well, expecting Kevin McCarty to win going away. Dr. Kofer has done very well in this race.
She has done better than I ever expected. I stood right here on this stage and said it's going to be a blowout, and man, was I wrong, right? I think we've all been wrong. I think there's a couple things at play here. And actually, she actually is the counter to everything I just said, because she's as unapologetically progressive as any candidate could possibly be. And look, she's hanging right in there, and, we don't know exactly how it's going to play out yet, but she absolutely did much better, has done much, much better than anybody could have expected. She is a much better campaigner. I'll just say, I've watched a lot of campaigns over the last 30 years. She's a much better campaigner than Kevin McCarty. And I think when people, the ones all we thought were going to, that voted for Pan or Hansen were all going to run to Kevin McCarty, clearly they haven't.
Yeah, that was the conventional wisdom at the time. So,
right.
All right, maybe even if Dr. Kofer loses, maybe she's got another shot doing something, considering the good showing she's had here.
You would certainly think so, yes.
Yeah. Okay, Rich Ehisen, we thank you, and we thank you for watching as well. If you'd like to reach out to Rich, you can do so. Rich.Eisen at capitalweekly.net.